Start with Dan. All right, and we are back after dinner, so we're going to start by talking a little bit more about Maryland's House elections and then obviously a little bit about the presidential election, because the first official candidate is none other than Maryland's own John Delaney. So, Dan, you want to take it away and tell us what's been going on in District 6, who's running, who's looking at running, and then kind of what your thoughts are on all of that.
So, it's so funny how the narrative out there is that the Republicans are for the rich and the Democrats are for the little guy. Well, in Montgomery County, us politicos out there, it's been multi-millionaire Democrat watch. What's David Trone going to do? What's John Delaney going to do? So John Delaney has now decided he's not running for re-election in District 6. He's not running for governor. He's running for president of the United States. And so now you have this open field. And Bill Frick out of Bethesda, who is a delegate, says he's going to run. Ronna Miller out of District 15, who's a delegate, says she's going to run. And of course, the big elephant in that race is going to be Big Dave, Big Bad Trone, who spent $13 million of his own money last time in the District 8 primary, only to lose to Jamie Raskin. So Trone's going to run again and try to buy a seat, I guess, again. And then on the other side of the coin, we've got, the rumor is Amy Hoeber will make an announcement in October on her future. There is an individual out of Boyd's whose name escapes me that says he's going to run. Adam McKee. Thank you, Dwight. And then Matt Mossberg, who out of Frederick, a former delegate in Montgomery County, is going to run as well, who lives in Frederick. And
Neil Parrott is considering.
Delegate Neil Parrott, one of the nicest delegates in Annapolis, is going to is considering running. I'm a big fan of Neil, good man. So that it'll be interesting to see. But obviously, it's going to be an open seat, so it'll be very competitive, and there's going to be a lot of people announcing, and so that's always exciting when you have a lot of new blood out there. And we'll see how the debates go, and we'll see what happens. But looking forward to it as always.
Then give us a quick summary also about what's going on in District 8. Obviously, you worked a lot to prevent Jamie Raskin from winning.
Jamie Raskin, who could be Bernie Sanders' son, in my opinion, is our incumbent, and so he's not going to have any challenger in the primary in the Democrat side. Liz Mattori, I believe, is considering. She is considering running. She has not made a decision yet, but I think she's considering it. And
Liz would be the best candidate.
Absolutely, and I told her I hope she does run, but the decision is ultimately up to Liz, of course. But we've got to really take the fight to Raskin. He is terrible.
So, a couple of thoughts I have, and then we'll go over to Dwight, is, first off, it'll be interesting to see on the Democratic side in District 6, since it is an open election, how a lot of the political divides that they'll probably have will be resolved in terms of seeing whether the more moderate people versus the more kind of very, very far left people are ultimately the people who are chosen as the nominee, because obviously compared to a lot of these Democrats who are running, Delaney is a complete moderate. So it'll be interesting to see if they kind of continue in that tradition or if they want a real break from that. If they want a real break from that, it bodes even more poorly for his presidential election if his own district completely picks a completely different kind of Democrat. I mean, the district was drawn to get Roscoe Bartlett out, which was successful, but it was drawn to have Rob Garagiola be the actual Democratic congressman, but Delaney had an endorsement from Bill Clinton, and that provided with some other outsider type things was enough to propel him. To the nominee. And Rob, after that, just quit politics entirely. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, oh great. And obviously Delaney almost lost in 2014 to Bongino, and then just beat Amy Hoeber. So the fact that he's not running in 2018 to focus full time on running for president probably wasn't a sign that he was too confident with his election chances, but we'll see who the Democrats end up nominating, as well as seeing obviously who else joins the Republican side of the field.
Well, Matt, with that said, the rumors about John Delaney, what I've heard is he ran for governor. He was going to run for governor. He had 3 polls done. He did subsequently worse in each poll. The first poll he was down, I think, by 5, then 7, then 10. So that's why John Delaney decided, I'm going to run for president. And honestly, I say, Congressman, good luck. You're going to need it. They're going to eat you alive. Because if you look at the field of candidates for president in 2020 on the Democrat side, you got Terry McAuliffe, Governor McAuliffe of Virginia, and he is awful, but that's another story. he's going to run. We'll probably see another run by Bernie if he's still alive and kicking. And don't rule out Hillary. Don't rule her out. She may run.
Thank you.
You know, because she'll be the comeback gal. Like Bill was.
thank you.
Oh wow, our desserts are here. Anyways, but that's on the Democrat side. We've got that, and then you also have Jerry Brown has always fancied himself being president. George Kimber,
Moonbeam.
and he'd be happy to run for president.
And then tell us why, kind of your assessment of what's been going on with Hogan. Why, obviously, he's the second most popular governor in the country, and then what do you think he's been doing to kind of probably really scare Delaney off from running against him?
I think the fact that he is the second most popular governor in the country has a lot to do with the fact that Delaney's internal pollings has Governor Hogan cleaning his clock every time, and he just does worse every time. Is a reason, and I think John Delaney's mentality is I can sit this one out and come back in 2022. But the joke's on you, John. 2022, it's going to be Steve Shue's turn to be governor, and you're not going to have much of a chance against Steve Shue either. So good luck at running for president, John. I know you're going to need it. You'll find that your Democrat friends right now that love you and sing your praises will not be with you because you're probably too right-wing for them. And that is a testament of your party when they think you, of all people, are too right-wing when, face it, your party today would not welcome Jimmy Carter. He would be too extreme for them. John Kennedy, just forget about John Kennedy. John Kennedy talked about tax cuts. And I will go out on a limb and I'll predict that President Trump wins re-election. Because I think the Democrats have, instead of coming back to the middle where they were winning elections, they have they feel they have not gone far left enough. So they are going to probably nominate probably another incarnation of George McGovern in 2020. And we know how well George McGovern did when he ran for president against President Nixon. They'll have about probably the same level of success. On the Republican side, I know Matt and I talked a little bit brief earlier about the Hickenlooper Kasich ticket, and John, Congressman, Governor, I really respected you when you were in Congress. You did the balanced budget. You were part of the contract with America. What happened to you? That's my question. What happened, Congressman? You used to be such a good guy, and now you're like, I don't know, what's happened? Are you going the ways of Don Sundquist, who was a great member of Congress, then when he became governor of Tennessee, decided he wanted to put an income tax, and he's the father of TennCare, which we know how well that worked out. I've got a column somewhere out there on the internet about when good Republicans go bad. It's Mickey Edwards is another one. He went to go teach at Harvard, and he just became a lefty. Congressman, come back to your roots. You've done some great things in your life. And partnering up with Hickenlooper, a Democrat. Come on. You're the fact that Republicans, we need more loyalties. I don't know if you know about, Matt, I don't know if you know about No Labels.
Yeah.
No Labels was kind of silly. And I think that's what Hickenlooper and Kasich are doing this trial balloon about the whole running as a third-party candidate, and honestly, let's face it, what do third-party candidates all have in common? They never win.
They take votes away from Ross Perot, spoiled George H.W., took 15% away from George H.W. Bush.
Well, another note on third-party candidates, obviously we'd have so many more Republicans in the Senate if we didn't have Democrats propping up libertarian candidates like we saw in 2012 in Montana, where Tester's campaign and his backers were supporting the libertarian candidate because they knew that they were running ads targeting hunters to have them support this libertarian, so they would draw away votes from the Republican, and ultimately Tester won by a couple thousand votes. But
Virginia.
Virginia with Rob Sarvis.
Governor's race in 2015.
And Ed Gillespie and Tim Kaine. Tim Kaine was, Mark Warner.
Mark, yeah.
Mark Warner would have lost if it weren't for third-party candidate Sarvel. And Ken Cuccinelli would have been governor.
Cuccinelli was told.
By the way, Ken Cuccinelli, the Cooch, is speaking at the Prince George's County Lincoln Reagan dinner in October or September. I forget what it is, but pggop.org or .com. Go there, check it out. I'll be there, as well. A lot of other people from Montgomery County going over there. Brandon Cooper's a great guy. He's the chairman over there, and I encourage everyone to buy a ticket. Go now because tickets are going to go fast. It's the PGGOP's Lincoln Reagan dinner.
Although now, interestingly enough, the Libertarian in Virginia in the governor's race this time is poised to draw a lot of support from the Democrat Ralph Northam, because there are 2 proposed pipelines that are being built in Virginia, and the Democratic Governor McAuliffe has said he supports both of them, I believe. Northam said he supports one of them, and that has been dogging him on the campaign trail. His events have been protested, debates have been interrupted, his own energy forums have been stormed by activists who are completely opposed to this. And so they're saying that instead of voting for him, and he's the only one, of the Democrats running for governor, attorney general, and lieutenant governor in Virginia right now, he's the only one who supports any of the pipelines. And so a lot of these activists are saying either we're going to vote for no pipeline for governor, or they're going to vote for the Libertarian candidate who actually opposes the pipeline. And so interestingly, similarly to the Kasich-Hickenlooper note in the 2008 election, there's a great book, Game Change, about it, that reported that McCain was looking at choosing Lieberman for his vice president, but then Lindsey Graham mentioned that, kind of sucked the air out of that trial balloon, and it didn't happen. But obviously, third-party presidential candidates and for most other down-ballot offices tend to not do very well. I mean, you look at the 2016 election where it was the most ripe for a third-party success, and there was none. And then, you see, like, at the Libertarian Party convention, there was a guy who ran for chairman who stripped almost naked on the stage.
No, he
because
did
someone
get naked.
wasn't completely naked. Because someone dared him to do it. No, it was, someone dared him to do it. He was a chair candidate for the Libertarian Party, and, they just recently tweeted from their official account saying that North Korea is more free than America because you can smoke weed there everywhere, and then they had to delete that and apologize, saying that actually it's ridiculous to say North Korea is more free than America. So, third party tends to not have too much success. And then on one other note, that what we were talking about is that Bernie Sanders endorsed Ben Jealous in the Maryland governor's race in the Democratic primary. And, while that's probably been good for getting Jealous a lot of energy, every candidate Bernie has endorsed has lost. Since the 2016 election, Rob Quist in Montana, Jim Thompson, I think, in Kansas. He hasn't endorsed very many others who come to mind, but every single candidate he's endorsed lost, and maybe probably in the 2016 election too. So, it's obviously Jealous said, he took that endorsement. Jealous also falsely claimed he was endorsed by Cory Booker. So, he's running an interesting campaign, but it'll definitely be interesting to see as the Democratic field continues in Maryland, to see kind of how far to the left it will go, and ultimately that will only help Hogan more, despite what they think and how that might juice Democratic turnout. Probably very unlikely, because Anthony Brown was definitely not a moderate candidate, and Hogan trounced him in 2014.
And I might add that Ben Jealous was also recently arrested in Washington, D.C. over a protest. So, hasn't been a good couple of weeks for Ben Jealous with falsifying an endorsement and then getting arrested.
And you like Kasich in the 2016 election, so what are your thoughts on that news?
I went with John Kasich in it was resume. At the time, I thought resume, Ohio, governor, all made his record, it all made sense to me at the time. I'm very disappointed in Governor Kasich's behavior during the general election. I wish he had if he didn't like Trump, I wish he had stayed more silent about it. Instead, he made a fool of himself, and Donald Trump won Ohio pretty significantly. It wasn't even close, and I think John Kasich really shot himself in the foot, and now he's pulling this. I think John Kasich at this point just wants to be relevant, and so he's trying to pull a stunt now with him and Hickenlooper running as independents and for president. I mean, it just seems like a stunt more than anything. They won't win. I mean, running as independent, you never win, as we know. We've never seen one win, and I don't foresee an independent winning anytime soon for president. I think John Kasich seems to care about John Kasich more these days than anything else, and I'm just very disappointed in his choices as of late. So I am not a supporter of Governor Kasich anymore. As someone who was a supporter and actually worked for his campaign. I am very disappointed in Governor Casey. So.
Excellent. Well, we're about to wrap up this first episode, so I want to have Dwight kind of tell us about this whole kind of project, adventure he's going on, and then obviously give a shout out to Wildwood, which is where we've been filming this whole thing. So turn it over to him.
Yeah, well, Dr. Potts is a column I write for the Montgomery County GOP's newsletter. I had a bunch of people last year, towards the end of last year, saying, "Hey Dwight, I want to run for office. What do I do?" I go, "Well, when I first ran for office in 1994, I did X, Y, and Z." So I'm, thinking about it. And in January, I decided, why don't I just do a series of articles, steps of getting office. If you go to mcgop.com, you can find Dr. Potts' articles there. I start off with the phase of getting started, then how to build a donor list, how to set up your first fundraiser, how to right now we're on part 3 of our 4-part series on digital campaigning, because that is really important these days. As you can see, we're doing this on Facebook. 20 years ago, we'd have done this on television. But that right now, my last article is about Republicans stepping outside of their comfort zones. I keep telling Republicans, stop going to you stop going to these events where you see the same people who are already going to vote for you. If you don't have a primary, you really don't need to be going to Women's Federation events, every one of them. You don't need to be going to every Republican event. You want to go to the events you want to go to. You want to go to the big women's club events. You want to go to the Republican Party's Lincoln Reagan Day dinners. You want to go to events with the governor. Other than that, you really don't want to go to every little clubs and so on, just because if you don't have a party, they're going to vote for you anyways. You want to go outside of your comfort zone. You want to go to PTSA's meetings. You want to go to football games. You want to go to homecoming games. You want to
Big train games.
spend time, with the Kiwanis and the Lions. Step outside of your comfort zone. The Democrats do it all the time. We don't do it enough. We need to be a little bit more dangerous. We need to be a little more proactive. We need to be threatening to the Democrats. Most Democrats don't. Republicans are not going to show up here. They'll go to these school events like career days, and you find these people saying all sorts spewing all sorts of crazy nonsense. I've been to some of these where I went to one. I remember in career day back in my old high school, Go Blazers, where somebody from Albert Wynn's office was there. Now, one of them was State Senator Craig Zucker from District 14. He brought along with this lady who was doing Hispanic outreach for Albert Wynn. And one of the things she mentioned, made a comment, was about 9/11. How it was, she kind of alluded to the fact it was our fault. And I just couldn't let that pass because, Matt, you know me, I'm not going to let that go. And as a result, I've never been invited back since then. But bottom line is, we need to challenge them when they say these kooky, stupid things like, oh, you're not taxed enough, or this or that. And that's what Dr. Politics covers, and we're going to be doing these podcasts. Matthew goes off to college soon again, but we will be doing a couple more. We'll probably do one more before he leaves. And Matt will be writing for us on the Dr. Politics articles. We've also got a website, politicalarchitects.com. It's not 100% yet. As the Emperor would say, the website is not fully operational yet. But if you're in downtown, if you're in Bethesda, stop by the Wildwood Italian Grill. They've got the best food in all of Bethesda. And we encourage you to come on down here. It's a great place, nice family environment, Pizza's awesome. It's one of my top 10 pizza places in Montgomery County. I used to do a blog, Pizza Connoisseur, and this is one of my top 10 places. So that's my other stuff that I like to do. Let Matt close off, so say a few words, and thanks for watching.
Well, before I thank everyone, I just want to see, Dan, if you have any final words as well, if you want to, final words of wisdom or anything.
The bottom line is 2018 in Montgomery County. This election is going to frame the future of Montgomery County. If Republicans don't take it seriously and don't work hard, and we don't fight the good fight, and we have to, then we are foreseeing forecasts of many major property tax increases, and we need to do everything we can to stop that and to end one-party rule here in Montgomery County. And that's my words out there to any Republican in Montgomery County watching this. We need to get out there and fight. And fight we shall, and fight we must. Thank you.
Well, thank you all for tuning in to this inaugural episode, and thanks to Dwight for having both Dan and me on to talk about it. And yeah, I mean, if you obviously like this, go ahead, like the page, share the video, tell other people, invite your friends to like
What's
the
your
page.
Twitter handle?
Well, my Twitter handle is just my name, Matthew Foldy. So thank you all very much for tuning in. It was a pleasure joining Dwight, and I'll let you have the final word.
Yeah, and follow me on Twitter, Dwight Nation. At Dwight Nation is my Twitter handle. Follow me there, or if you want to read some other stuff that I've done in the past, over the last 20 years, go to dwightnation.com. I got a lot of my archived articles there. So maybe some Democrats should go there and they should read my issues on taxes. Maybe they'll get some education. That's never going to happen. But I want to thank Matthew. I want to thank Dan for coming on out. And
Thank you.
Thank you guys out there for watching. We'll do another podcast in about 2 weeks. Tune in. And in the meantime, and by then, politicalarchitects.com will probably be fully operational, so we'll be able to have some stuff there for you to look at. Thank you. Good evening.
And then if there's any topic, obviously you'll want Dwight to cover in the next one, just comment, send it to Dwight, whatever, because obviously, I mean, he'll be very receptive to talking about things that you will want to hear about. So.
Yep. Okay, and thank you very much. Signing off.